Okay, so let me just before I start answering questions, just let me give you a brief of what we are in terms of the project. So in January of this year, finally, the App Store accepted the user interface, meaning the wallet, which in our case, remember that we are not a wallet, more than that. But at the end, the user interface was accepted. So finally, we could do that. And after that, we wanted to add all the ingredients of communication for people to understand the project in our website. And then we talked since last year with a PR company from New York that, well, we have several things going on. Like I have in October, I had a meeting with GSR, one of the largest market makers in the world and in the USA. This is before everything happened with FTX. I meet with them in New York. So that has to do with the listing topic that we're going to talk about. In terms of us, we needed to be accepted on the App Store. That finally happened until January, I believe, something like in the 13th, something around there. So then we can advance in all the information that we have in our website on how to use the solution. From the tech point of view, let's call the first version of the initial vision of what I had 5 years ago with the release of the app in the Apple Store was complete for me. There are other things, initiatives that we are working on that are more complex to do for a version number 2, for example, taking Matic from the middle. So basically you cannot see it. You don't need to have Matic. That is called meta transactions. It's quite difficult to do technically for several reasons, but probably we will have done in our version number 2, maybe even this year. So I would like even a cleaner version of the user interface. That's talking a little bit about tech. And we are working in other things. We're bringing an exchange within the Apples, a simple exchange from the Uniswap pools that Polygon have, meaning the people that has made pools in the Polygon network, in Uniswap, we're bringing those so that people can interact very easily with them via our user interface, because Uniswap and any other wallet with the simplicity that we have, there's no other. So the idea there is I already talked to Polygon like 3 months ago, and I just came back from New York a couple of weeks ago. I was there for almost a month. I will tell you a little bit about that as well. And the idea there is trying to get marketing from the communities of Polygon and Uniswap. So that is another strategy in which I want a marketing, organic marketing, meaning that we don't need to pay for the communities. So basically what I want is Uniswap to say, okay, here's a tool for you to exchange pools in a decentralized manner, very low fees. Compared to Ether, meaning the Ether network, the pools in Polygon are still very, very small. So I saw an opportunity there, so that it's a win-win situation for Polygon, Uniswap, and us. Okay, us for marketing, Uniswap for the fees, because Polygon fees are very cheap. And in the case in Polygon, it's obvious they want to grow their network. So in the pools, meaning the exchange is very small still in their network, the exchange is the main use case so far. so we can bring something new to the table to incentivize these things. And the PR company, I was told you that I was approached by a PR company. I mean, I have been approached by many companies over the last 3 years. I am very skeptical about marketeers, yeah, because our project is quite unique. So I go through GoLens in asking them if, or try to finding out if they really can help us. In this case, they convinced me because they really did a research on the project. I was talking to the CEO of this firm, and I was a little bit frustrated because I went to New York. We have already set up the meetings, supposedly, and they didn't happen. Meaning Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, and the other one was CNBC and the New York Times. So I don't know if they are going really to happen. I have a good deal in the sense with the PR company because I am always tough with the dealings in the sense like if we don't get the result, they give us our money back. But like in this case, the money is not that important. What I really wanted is like I believe it's a very good time for us to go out there and be in the big news, just because of what is happening all year, meaning the wrong banks in California. And I will tell you a little bit more of, I mean, just what happened last week with Binance and the SEC and Coinbase and so on. So in the side of good news, in New York, I mean, I didn't know these guys, but I get to know them and meet with them. The founder and co-founders of something called the Greenwich Economic Forum. It's a very petite, super high level network of individuals. You can look for them in YouTube. They have top fund managers and hedge funds and private equity funds and sovereign funds, just CEOs, governors, and so on. And the idea there is they are holding a meeting right now in Hong Kong, like I believe it's this week. And what I want to do is to introduce to these people GAUGECASH in the next meeting, which is going to be in October of this year. It's not a thing that is set up by stone, but it was. We are starting to have communication with these guys. I mean, just to give you an example, Ray Dalio is over there, the founder of Bridgewater Associates. He just announced the opening of his family office in Abu Dhabi. So people of that caliber is there. So for us to be accepted in that forum, it will be pretty cool. I'm looking after that. The first meeting went well. But yeah, something just I want to be very cautious with my words here because I don't want to confuse you, but like always there are interpretations of what I said. Well, anyone says in well, what I want to say is like I see interviews of sportsmen, famous people, and then reporters they say whatever they want. So what I mean is even that I'm going to be precise, then in the group people start saying other things. But anyways, I will say what I want in the sense that when I was in New York, I have a sense because we were looking for talking myself with some of our partners. Remember, Chaining Kids over there, Uniswap is over there, Polygon. The headquarters are not in New York, but they have people in New York. And GSR, specifically GSR, nobody answered me. And that was weird for me. obviously it's business, right? I'm not talking in a personal level because I was with GSR in their offices there in New York in October. So I didn't understand what was going on. And then when I came back, just 1 week after, I was going to stay in New York, but I came back, and then this situation, I mean, the lawsuits came about. So I understood that from the point of view of GSR, the market making, I mean, these guys are dealing with the SEC. And the names that they have put out there in terms of securities is big names, including our partners. So I just want to give you, maybe there's going to be some questions about that. So what's the situation? Obviously, many people can say, okay, but this is just the US, right? But my strategy for this year was the US. Meaning Palo Alto first. We have some venture capital discussions, and then everything started to break down in California. And then I went to New York, and I already told you my feeling that I couldn't push too much in the sense of real meetings to see some movement. And then I came back, and then just the announcements of the lawsuits to these exchanges. So I have been seeing the media, and remember, I have experience in over-the-counter markets for now more than 20 years, and this is history repeating itself of what happened in 2008 with the financial crisis, in which the Dodd-Frank regulation came by, and many of the brokerage financial firms doing what is called CFDs, they couldn't understand the regulation in the US, and they went to other parts of the world, mainly under the umbrella of the Financial Conduct Authority in London and other venues. So GAUGECASH is a global project. So, but I just want to make very, very clear what's the situation here, which is very simple. And hopefully I will repeat this like a couple times, okay, right now. So where we are, okay, in a summary, we have a tremendous product, technology, and it works. Everything that is in the back, because you just see the user interface and people think it's very simple, but in the back, there's a lot of smart contracts and check-ins and so on and so forth. So let's say that we just finished in January. So now that we want to grow, we need more funding, right? The amount of money that we raised in the ICO was around $1 million. That's too short for big projects. I mean, just to give you ballparks, Solana was funded with 30 and then 100 million before going into the decentralized or listing exchanges. Chainlink in 2017, they raised 30 million. And there are other projects. So talking about just 1 million is we have doing great. We have done great things technologically with 1 million. Which in our case, it's okay. But the big part now is the marketing part, and with all these environments, macroeconomical environment, things are a little bit tougher. Although I believe there could be very, very good news for GAUGECASH, because GAUGECASH solves many of the problems that we have seen, right? But that doesn't mean it's going to be automatically. People need to start understanding the product, getting used to it, using it, and finding that it's safe, and hopefully get mass adoption in the future. I'm not talking just within the crypto space. I'm talking about in general, right? Remember, our goal is to compete with the Euro USD. I truly believe still we are the best project to do that. I haven't seen any other project close to being able to do that. We are in that position. So we're looking for the next round of funding from the professional point of view. What are the ranges? Well, we just hired this company that I mentioned to you in the chat. It's called Qubit.capital. This is a group of people that, again, we have been searching for some help in that sense. We have many talks before hiring them. And they do fundraising. So right now we have two goals. Let's say two sides of tickets. It's going to be like 2 to 5 million, and the other ticket could be 20 to 40 million. Why these two tickets? Because the fundraising goes to different markets, meaning the 2 to 5 million, it's maybe a small family office, maybe some angel investors, something like that. And 20 to 40 million, it will be very basically Series A of a institutional venture capital. But venture capital in the world is a little bit in a trouble, right? Especially in the US, which it was our market to go this year. And as you have seen in the news, they are not doing very well. So I foresee very good things still coming out from this year. But on the other hand, I know that this microeconomic environment is going to be a little bit hard. Again, from the point of view, remember, I am from Mexico, I am in Mexico, and my main relationship is towards the US. Right now, I'm switching my thinking in the sense that I'm trying to take good decisions for the project forward with the tools that we have, meaning the resources that we have. And obviously, one scenario could be Middle East. We have some contacts there, so I will start talking to them and figure out if maybe we will move there instead of the US. Not saying that GAUGECASH was going to be in the US, meaning but by the regulatory part, we have been invited to be in the UK, in Switzerland, in Liechtenstein, in Dubai. The other one that I haven't done, but I know it could be an obvious option, could be Hong Kong or Singapore, right? But those things now, the simplicity is we need this next fundraising, okay? So I will just end this part with this context, saying that hopefully now the questions that I will answer for you, my answers, you need to understand that they are coming from this perspective, the reality in which we are, right? So I will be straightforward in saying if some of your questions doesn't make too much sense with the reality, you know what I mean, hopefully. And if you have any comment, I'm open here to talk about that. The other decision that I took this has been like now for 3 months or so with my team in the channel, is that we want to bring some new initiatives for growing in terms of marketing use cases and so on. I'm preparing that with my team. But we will not allow anyone that is just being obviously. I respect all the people that has put money in this project, but if people just emotionally come by into the chat and say, oh, this is a scam and that, I will not stand that. These comments will be taken out just because it should be obvious to you that affects the attitude of new people that could help us, right? And I will touch about it because this is a huge main issue with exchanges, right? They want to see a community, they want to see a growing community. So if the environment in our communities are bad, then we are, even that we're the investors, putting the project down, right? So that's a decision that I will take. I will be removing people that is just harming, even that they can come one day emotionally. I don't care, right? We need to be mature in this sense, and this is a real project that we have big ambitions that solves a real problem in the world. Nobody said that it was going to be easy. Actually, it's getting pretty hard. But because it's a necessity in the world, then somehow the market is so huge with what is happening that sooner or later we are going to be successful. And so I feel that many of the people of our investors think that the only solution is listing. Yeah, listing is one, but there are other many ways of growing and getting big and give returns to you for the project. So I have a big vision in that sense that listing is just a part or could be a part, right? So I will explain more a little bit if you have more questions related to listing. But we have tried listing all this year, at the beginning of the year. But it's getting super difficult just because of what you saw in the news, hopefully. Anyways, let me start answering some questions. So, I mean, I know that you sent questions. I have them here. I can read them, but I would like to have some interaction with the people that took the time to be here. So you can unmute yourself. I don't know who wants to start, but go ahead and start, and we can have a conversation. I mean, again, I will go with all the other questions that have been written, but if somebody wants to have a conversation, go ahead and ask me something.
Blanco.
Hi, Tom. This is Tom.
Yes, Tom. I just wonder about if we can have like the trading bear for GAUGECASH and Bitcoin, GAUGECASH and Ethereum. You know, just like they have US dollar T and Bitcoin trading pair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, can you repeat a little bit? I couldn't understand very well your question. Sorry.
Okay, if you go to any market, you see the trading bear for US dollar T and Bitcoin, US dollar T and Ethereum. Right?
You mean for GAUGECASH or for
GAUGECASH?
For GAUGECASH, yeah.
So if you can have a trading pair for GAUGECASH and Bitcoin, GAUGECASH and Ethereum, man, we will be explode. We will be like replacing or be an alternative choice. You know, people can use GAUGECASH to do trading for Ethereum, Bitcoin, like another alternative. You know, beside US dollar T, US dollar C. I don't know how can you make it happen. That's wonderful if you can do that.
Okay, yeah, I will answer your question. Well, it's not certain that so you need to understand something technically. So in Polygon's network, you don't have Bitcoin. Okay, what you can have is something called wrapped Bitcoin. Okay. So the integration, because Bitcoin is a unique change, and then Ethereum is another one, and Polygon is another one. So let's not get confused with, remember, we're a decentralized project. So what exchanges do, meaning, let's say Binance, Coinbase, KuCoin, whoever you want to tell me, what they are putting in front of you to exchange these pairs, that's why they do it. That's why in the back they have a market making process manually. So they are not exchanging Bitcoin per, let's put the sample of Matic. Bitcoin per Matic They have a platform in which you make the trade, but in the back, they manually, they have what is called a book, right? In which they match make these transactions with their balance sheet. And then, yeah, automatically they give it like a bank. They give you a voucher. If you want to trade, you trade. But in the back, basically, they are just arranging with money whatever they want to do. I mean, using dollars, Bitcoins, whatever they want. It doesn't matter. Hopefully you understand this part. And they can give you the trade because that's their business. Okay, they just give a commission. So the matching of the trading book happens manually with a team. In a decentralized exchange like ours, you need to bridge things between networks. So it's impossible to exchange Bitcoin per GAU in Polygon, just because Bitcoin lives in Bitcoin's network and Polygon is another network, although Polygon has allowed smart contracts. So what people, if you see coin market cap, I don't know what number it is in market capitalization, there's something now called wrapped Bitcoin, which is living in the Ethereum network. And I'm pretty sure that there should be now a wrapped Bitcoin. But there's a problem with that. The wrapped Bitcoin, if it is not done by Polygon, is a third party. And we don't know if that third party really have the Bitcoins. It's like Tether, it's like USDT. You can produce a token and say, oh, we're wrapping Bitcoin. But because you cannot check the interoperability of the smart contracts, because in Bitcoin, you don't have those smart contracts. Well, you cannot make smart contracts. You cannot check that Bitcoin is there. It's a risk, okay? So in that sense, Bitcoin is quite difficult, but Ethereum is much more easier because in Polygon network, we have transparent Ether relationship to GAU. So in the exchange that we're making, actually, we are bringing those pools that already exist in Uniswap, let's say, and you will be able to trade. But we decided right now to go with USDT for other reasons. So basically, I don't see it as an stop, meaning like if people want to exchange Bitcoin, because you can do that in your centralized exchange. Everyone has USDT, I mean, all exchanges. So you can do the exchange there and then go to our user interface, because remember, the whole project of GAUGECASH is not to be an exchange. Is to be a means of payment, store of value, and growing, which is not happening yet, right? And the exchange part, we will grow as I told you. Right now, the pools are very, very small, even from the point of view of Uniswap and Polygon together. So we want to push that because that will be helpful for them, for us, to grow our communities. So, but that is very, very new technology. So, did I answer your question?
Yeah, sort of. I know.
Okay.
It is. It's more complicated than I thought.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. Anyways, who's next? Who wants to make another question? Just unmute yourself and go for it. Okay, I will go with some of the questions that you have right here in the chat. By Rafi, he's asking, what is the update with listing GAUI, Binance, etc., and is GAUI listing happening anytime soon? Roadmap for 2023? Okay. So listing, well, me are the first a little bit frustrating now with listings because we have talked to all the top tier exchanges, okay? And you just, I mean, I didn't know this. I'm telling you that this news just came by. I felt something in New York because of, we have already a contract with GSR. GSR is in contact with all the main exchanges, largest exchanges. So what's happening in the US, well, you saw is affecting the market and so on, because the US is a big market, of course. So if you saw the interview that I put you in the chat with the CEO of Coinbase, the problem is regulation is in a very, very gray area, okay, in the US. So we have talked to lawyers since last year about, they were asking something that is called the legal opinion. And I'm happy that we didn't go through, in the sense of, because I fight about that. Like, I didn't want a legal opinion. I want a team that protects our project, and understood it very well in the case of something like this happened. Because again, our budget is not in the size of billions, just like XRP, or, I mean, XRP has spent already $100 million just in fighting with the SEC. We don't have that money. So now this battle is going to go to the trial courts, and what the CEO of Coinbase is saying, that I believe is a good comment, is hopefully after these trials, what we get is just a clear vision of what is coming for the US, right? But okay, that's one side. The problem with our project is, like, you need to understand what is the business of an exchange. And basically what happens is, I believe I have explained this to you, but I will explain it again real quick. Binance, any exchange, any over-the-counter market exchange, they take people of thousands of amateur traders in the world, and 80 or 85% of them lose money. So what does that mean is, like, the exchange, in their balance sheet, that money stays there because of what I already explained. Like, in your user interface, you are seeing exchanges, suppose that you are trading, I don't know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, this and that, blah, blah, blah. That information is not really going to the blockchain, unless you are in Uniswap, let's say. That is the balance sheet of the exchange, and he's making the profits. What happens if they start leveraging, which start happening with exchanges in the crypto space, and has happened with over-the-counter market exchange for many years? Things can go wrong in the risk management department of the exchange. So that's what happened mainly with FTX, right? Alameda took a lot of risk. And then when the market came down, they didn't have the funds. So now with Binance, the lawsuit is that part. Is like saying, oh, well, there are many parts. But one is, okay, you are staking, so that means some of the tokens are securities, blah, blah. The other part is leverage. And leverage is a problem for us. Why? Because we, as a project, if we think of GAUGECASH as a risk management tool, is a much more desirable product, because we are not growing against leverage. We are growing against real assets that are held back in the back of the project. Maybe you will not understand what I'm saying, but like, you can go to my lecture there, number 4, and hopefully you get a better idea. But like, you can think of it like a balance sheet of decentralized assets, but in a well-managed way. This is not happening with exchanges so far. I talked to, just to give you examples, BitTrue, Bitmart, and there was another one like 4 months ago, and they don't even have risk management departments. So with leverage, leverage taken by big market makers can provoke collapses. And that is what is the SEC looking at right now to regulate that part, which is professional trading. So basically you have market makers, you have the exchange here, and you have thousands of small traders here, which is the people that go into the centralized exchanges. These guys really, because they have all the information, can really outpace the small investor. I'm not saying that they are doing something wrong or they are tricking or they are scamming. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that these guys are amateurs and these guys are professionals. But both are taking a lot of risk. Okay. So for us listing, GAUGECASH, still many of these exchanges doesn't understand what is risk management because they are piling so much money just for the business of exchange, so they don't care. Okay, that's GAUGECASH being looked as a risk management tool. Now, GAUI, which is the back of our project, exchanges is asking us, okay, how many users do you have for GAUGECASH? And we don't have none yet because we just finished the technology and we need marketing. So we are not big enough still. And with this situation that is happening, it's going to be even more difficult. Again, more difficult with the top exchanges, not the crappy exchanges. But if I go and put GAUI in a crappy exchange, meaning an exchange that has a volume of, let's say, 50 million per day, who knows where, we are not able to grow because there's not going to be volume. So now there's this like chicken and egg relationship. This is a conversation that I have in a meeting with Polygon listing team in New York. Is Manuel, now these guys want projects with recognition because they want volume. And me, Manuel, I want their community of, let's say, Binance to recognize me because I want the same thing, volume. You know what I mean? So for me to be recognized, I need marketing. And Binance to accept me, they want to be that I am a big project. For me to be a big project in terms of recognition, I need money. So this is the state right now. Maybe in 2019, 2017, it was another story, but we didn't develop that technology at that time. We are in 2023, and this is the situation. So basically right now it's a matter of raise funding and then us start to looking, we already are, looking for use cases, very important use cases for corporations, treasury departments, non-profits, governments, and so on and so forth, so that we can take adoption for the real service and hopefully then we can list. Even I have been thinking about listing in a traditional exchange, for example, in the London, New York exchange, but we are small for that still. So we need to grow in whatever way I can. That's why we need a little bit more or fundraising. So just to argue that what I'm saying is correct, and if you don't believe it, then you are wrong. Basically, is what is happening with Coinbase. Look at the lawsuit. They are lawsuiting Solana. They are lawsuiting Cardano. They are lawsuiting Matic. They are lawsuiting, I don't know if Link is there, Near protocol, and so on. They are saying they are securities. So Solana, I know the co-founder, Greg Fitzgerald. I talked to him in Seattle in DevCon Truffle in 2019. They were about to go in live in 2020. I believe it was in 2020 when they did their IEOs and listing and so on, and they grew a lot. And then they collapsed because of Alameda and all this story. So now it's going to be more difficult. And they had like, at that time, they had a funding of like 100 million for listing. And they profited for it, for sure. But we are not in that position of money right now ourselves. But we can get there. But it will take probably more time. I wish it could be this year. I was expecting the market to go up. It will be if we didn't have back collapses in California, we didn't have this problem with Binance and the SEC and so on, the money will be more available. There are other areas in the world probably which, because I hear sometimes in the group people saying, oh, I have seen after projects being listed here and there. Well, yeah, maybe there's a guy that has 20 million and they want to spend it in listing with no return. It's not our case. We cannot go like that to exchanges. Even if I have right now the money to list in Binance, at least from the conversations that we had at the beginning of the year to now, they stopped, they didn't answer. The head of listing, which his name is Dennis, global listing of Binance, didn't answer. So I understand why they are not answering. They are in the middle of a battle, right? And we are small. So I don't know when we can list. Now, the Uniswap part, let's call the decentralized part. We can grow there, hopefully. I think I love the decentralized part of everything. But still the market of Uniswap compared to Binance or KuCoin or hobbies like this, and this is like this, right? So in other words, what I'm saying is for this to grow, needs a lot of marketing and adoption and knowledge. Because I'm telling you, for you to trade in Uniswap is much more difficult than to trade in Binance just because Uniswap just released their wallet mobile. You need to do it through MetaMask or other wallets, it's more complex. You need to understand more. You need to understand B3 technology. You need to understand all these things of how to put the money. I mean, so the market is shorter. That's what I'm saying. Our solution is very simple and can grow a lot. So I'm telling you that the exchanges in Polygon, the pools, just to give you an idea, the USDT volume in Polygon is just like 250 million per day compared to the 20 to 50 to 80 billion that they have in Ethereum or in centralized exchanges, let's say. There's nothing. So Polygon is a new project. Uniswap is not as big as other projects. And we are something very small yet. So listing now is getting complicated. I wish it would be, again, I wish maybe we would be in 2017 or something like that. And then we will be already listed because we will be managing well the whole situation, but it's not the case, right? So we need to handle the reality right now. So that is the listing part. I want to be listed, yes. We need money, but even with money right now, we need a lot of adoption, and adoption comes with marketing and real use cases. So we're working on that direction. Roadmap for 2023, very simple. Raise money. I already told you, we have already set 2 goals for 2 to 5 million or 20 to 40 million. And what can we do with those money is 2 different roadmaps, okay? Let's bring them first. And the other is like we are pushing towards showing people, meaning showing important decision makers in various industries, several industries, so they can see our solution and maybe partner with them, just like we talk with Standard and Charter and guys like that. I mean, there are many examples for that. So this company Qubit will help us produce some meetings, and hopefully here till the end of the year we have some good news about adoption, right? Here in Mexico, personally, last week I have a meeting with some friends. It's local, but they are big. A gas company and a company that does a lot of importing, and they are very, very interested in listening what we have, in the sense of adopting GAUGECASH for them will be so that they can get the fees of transactions through banks much more well, not depends on banks, and the other one is to get the fees lower. So that is a useful use case, and we want people like that, like, let's say, medium players, medium to high big players, so they see the facility, the use of ease of the solution. We can start bringing some volume, and then we will grow for sure. Okay. 3, what new developments are with adoption of the project, marketing, etc.? Well, I already answered you. Part is fundraising, the other part is use cases. Tom, okay, I already answered you, Tom, I believe. Yeah. I mean, we have to move away from centralized investors. That's why we should start with trading GAUGECASH, like Bitcoin did in other ways. Will stay pure and fully decentralization is the way. Well, yeah, at the end of the story, I don't like to say too much this but yeah, we are what Bitcoin couldn't accomplish as a peer-to-peer cash system. So yeah, that's the main use case. So hopefully in the next 5 years, we should become larger than that Bitcoin if we are successful, because we're exactly solving the problem that Bitcoin started to solve. But now we have solved scalability and volatility. Okay. Holger, targeting the US market is the wrong approach, in my opinion. Holger, what I mean with targeting is not, so GAUGECASH, the main target of GAUGECASH as a daily use base is not the US, is not Europe, is not China, is not the United Kingdom, is not Australia, is not Canada. Is emerging market, and I mean, I'm talking about like Venezuela, Argentina, Brazil, Lebanon, places that are having big debt crisis. That is the market of GAUGECASH for sure. But the investors, that's our tricky part right now. And the main investors of innovation, well, in the last 20 years have come from Silicon Valley or the US, because they have money, obviously Middle East as well, and China as well. But I don't have roots, I don't have contacts in China, right? And Middle East, I have some. In US, it was more approachable to me in the sense of having people, and probably in Europe. So what I'm saying is just something very, very straightforward, like GAUI. Let's think this way. GAUI is for investors, and GAUGECASH is for emerging markets or corporations in the US and so on. I mean, GAUGECASH has many use cases in the first world as well. Not substituted. I don't believe GAUGECASH is going to substitute or compete with the euro, with the USD, again, with the major currencies. Those are for emerging market. But for your use cases, yeah, we can compete easily in the first world. But the money raising, for sure, we have data. When we did our ICO, is not coming from these parts of the world. It's coming from the first world. So that's the challenge. That's why I am a little bit frustrated with the US. It's not because of GAUGECASH, the service, it's GAUI, the investment part. Okay. But if you want to give some comments, I'm happy to hear you. Ali, listing when? I already talked about that. I don't know. Holger. What's the name again of the company which arranges the fundings? Please understand what you're saying and explaining. It's called Qubit. Let me write it here. Qubits.capital. There. Holger. Rafi. What are we doing for fundraising and getting new users? Well, we're looking for, I will repeat, high level decision takers in 3 or 4 industries. Actually, I'm going to make the last video of the lectures talking about use cases. You will understand better exactly the applications of GAUGECASH through 3 or 4 use cases. And we have hired a firm that is going to look, and I'm going to start having meeting with big decision makers for that, for fundraising and use cases. Holder, that has been said for 2 years. The adoption fee for listing GAUI, that's quite simple. Yeah, you're right, Holder, but remember that we just finished the technology in January, okay? Exactly. Listing does not create volume and adoption. Yeah, not necessarily. Maybe 4 years ago it could, but now probably not. Rafi, what is the outlook for adoption? How can adoption be increased exponentially? Well, exponentially, we can push the first part, right? Exponentiation comes from liking of the project. It's just once people start understanding the, let's say, Standard and Charter. I'm telling Standard and Charter because they looked for us last year, but we didn't have the solution ready. I mean, they invited me to go and then they canceled the meeting. I need to look for them again now that we have the solution ready. But like, it's a matter of in which, let's say, one of these big guys start using. I mean, for Standard and Charter, it was quite interesting because it was just not one use case. It was 4 departments. The venture capital department, they were interested in the trading of fiat currency department, the hedging department, and the risk management department. 4 of them, they were interested. They looked for me. We had a meeting, and they invited me to go to Dubai, but and as I'm telling you, they canceled because they were having some organizational changes, so they didn't look for me again until now. I haven't looked for them because we just finished in January and I want to show exactly the end product. So if one of those guys start using us in the back, then probably it's a matter of time in which Standard Charter, let's say they have like tons of wealth management people in their network. So if they like our solution, exponentiation can start happening, right? So it's just like every other product, like people likes it, then can grow exponentially. Right? But we don't know. Hopefully that happens. Claudia, what could an investor which brings money in now to GAUGECASH get better that it could get after 2 years when GAUGECASH is launched and established? What could an investor which brings money now to GAUGECASH get better than it could get after 2 years when GAUGECASH is launched and established?
What I mean is there are several choices. You could invest now or in 2 years or in 3 years or in 5 years.
Right.
If you choose to invest now, you do that for a certain reason, and the reason is obvious now, to make more money, clearly. Then how do you incentivize an investor now compared to what will happen in 2 or 3 years when everything is established, they have a feedback, they know what risky is the investment and so on? This is the question.
Yeah, I mean, the answer is pretty straightforward. It's like these investors obviously will have a discount on the whole project. I mean, if we are talking with a venture capital, probably will be a stake on the tokens, right? So remember that we just have, I mean, you can look at GAUI from the traditional perspective or with the new perspective of crypto, but like from the point of view, valuation is almost the same. Like we have just certain amount of GAUI, which is, let's say, the value of the company. So if somebody comes to me, let's say venture capital is, let's say this next 6 months, and he told me, okay, here there are 30 million. There's going to be an exchange of what? Of the project in tokens versus money, and me asking them, what can we get from you in terms of contacts, this and that, just what is called smart money, not just money, right? And then the whole trick of this is like we go to new levels of valuation, right? And this just can happen with adoption. And that's the way it's sustainable to make money. That's why I'm saying that for us, going just to the open markets in these market conditions, crypto in the last, when we were in the highs and now in the lows, in December and now a little bit high, in January and now a little bit low right now, is the craziness of the market, right? It's called the exuberance, in academic terms, the irrationality of the markets. So that environment it's super cool if it is irrational going up, but it is super bad if it is irrationally going down. So right now we're in the down part. So anyone who is going to become our investors, we need to show them that the project has value. And then we need that, as Holger was saying, that the value comes from adoption. And for sure, what I'm just saying is that the market is so huge, it's possible to compete with the Euro USD, that this can be one of the largest ventures in history. So in that sense, it is worthy for the next investor, the next layer of investor, to take the risk if they believe so, right? That's what I'm betting on. Right? Yeah.
The actual market capitalization now it's 500 million. If the value of one GAUI is 1, then total number of GAUI is 500 million. Then the total valuation is 500 million. Isn't it too much? I mean, from clearly from the potential point of view, couldn't be too much. But from actual value, I mean, if someone wants to go in now, isn't it too much compared to what it's actually, I don't know, the real value, let's say.
Right. Okay, so yeah, something that I have been thinking is like, GAUI, we put it equally to 1, right? That was our decision. It hasn't been good for the project because of everything that has happened. If you ask me what should be the value of the project right now in real terms, I believe it should be in the ballpark around 200 million all the way to 500. Okay, but that's just a valuation compared to what, let's say. So, for example, in 2000 and something, I don't know, at the beginning of the century, PayPal was sold to eBay for 1.3 billion, if I'm correct. So this is much more bigger than PayPal in possibilities, right? So the other measure that I can give is like the Libra project from Meta, well, now Meta before Facebook, which basically they were looking after something like what we're doing, global, stable, decentralized coin, blah, blah, blah. It was sold to Silvergate, the bank that had problems in California, for 200 million, not working, right? This works. This is settled. This is done. This is finished. So that's what, but nobody says. So the other answer is, if somebody comes to me and told me, Manuel, I want to buy your project, then the negotiation needs to be in that ballpark. But nobody has come and told me that, right? So in other words, we are worth nothing, right? I mean, that's the reality. So I need to go out there now, show the project, show the use cases, and then hopefully the real valuation start coming. And hopefully, if it happens that in the future, that I believe is going to happen, maybe in 1 year, I don't know, or 2 years, or the rule maybe in 6 months, hopefully it's faster. Regulation and things start happening in each part of the world, or we go to Binance Global, or we are in China, or I don't know where. Meaning we go to the listing part, and the valuation by itself gets around, by definition, 10 billion or whatever. That's okay, but again, that's not necessarily rational, right? And just look at what happened with Solana when they were worth $253 and now they are worth 20. So the question is, why people decided the valuation of Solana at whatever billions and now is much more less? So the only answer is irrationality, right? And this project is based on rationality. So what I'm saying in other words is we need to make sure that the valuation is sustainable for every one of us, right? At the benchmark. Then if there is exuberance, which is the trading part, and you get out, if you get out in the future, suppose that there's another super big bull market, bull market, and you get out, like, okay, you bought Solana and you get out because of craziness in 100 plus revenue compared to the real valuation. Well, good for you, right? I mean, that can happen too, and that will be lovely, right? So did I answer, Claudia?
Yes, sorry. Thank you very much. It's a clear answer, and I understand. It's clear the strategy, and good luck with finding the investor, let's say.
Yeah, just to give you a sense of what the goal is with the team with Qubit Capital is, we believe, like, we set ourselves the goal to bring 2 to 5 million in the next 3 to 4 months, or 20 to 40 million in the next 6 to 1 year. Okay. And then if that happens, then we can be much more closer to a real valuation of the ballpark that I'm talking about. At least if it happens at the level of venture capital, for sure, we will be worth between 250 and 5 million. If we go to the open markets and everything is settled and then the market decides, just taking USDT can take us larger than that, and we will make sure to market that part to the irrational people. I mean, to the rational trader that and that can become quite nicely to see, because again, we can go after Bitcoin and we can go after USDT, both of them. Okay. Holger, why you don't introduce GAUGECASH to the BRICS governments? Well, Holger, I have a news for you. We have. I'm not kidding. We have talked to the Iranian embassy. We had a conversation last year with them. So we're not sure if the whole BRICS knows, but I'm not against about everything. Remember, I'm a very pragmatic guy. But yeah, I don't want to go too deep because there's nothing certain. But yeah, it could be very, very interesting, right? For sure, the solution is there. Okay, I believe I answered all of the questions here in the chat. I have some more here written. Like, I don't know if one of you guys if you want to unmute yourself and ask me a question, I will be happy. And then if not, I review the ones that were sent to us. And if I have an answer, I will answer those. Okay.
Manuel, can you say
Yes.
something more about introducing GAUGECASH to the BRIC government? What their reaction? What's their precision? Why they should use GAUGECASH? You know.
You mean the meaning that we have?
Yeah. I mean, my question is, why the BRIC government want to use GAUGECASH? What we have to offer them? You know what I'm saying?
What we have to offer to them?
Yeah, I mean, what's the advantage? Because they are a big nation. They can create their own GAUGECASH, right? If they want to, right?
Well, okay, yeah, I understand now what you're asking. Okay, so basically the world is well, let's talk about this BRIC arrangement kind of thing. Again, just to be super clear, I haven't so we talked with the Iranian embassy in the Netherlands. That's what their meeting had. So these people is they are well, I was going to say executive, but not even that. Government people, right? So these technologies are super new to them. So don't think that governments understand very much about not even Bitcoin, okay? And just to give you a couple examples, like Bukele in El Salvador saying that they will adopt Bitcoin. Well, I mean, it sounds okay, but sorry to say that, but like, it's stupid. Just because if you understand Bitcoin, it's Bitcoin as a network, just because of the scalability and volatility is not possible, right? As a monetary system. That's why we created this, which is, it can be scalable. Now, if you ask me, Manuel, if you start having like, I don't know, maybe one country, let's say Mexico, the whole country, instantaneous transactions today, maybe the scalability is not there yet in terms of the computers, right? So again, we are in early days of that. We're working in a layer 2 blockchain, which is pretty fast, but again, it's distributed system, is matching all the blocks with many computers and so on and so forth. So this will grow and grow and become larger, just like computational power has been growing in the last 30 years. So anyway, just saying that, being said that, yeah, it's very simple. Like some governments, they don't like to trade with US dollars. And Russia is an example right now, and he has been pretty smart, or with selling gas to the Eurozone and asking not for euros. Say, no, I don't want euros, I want rubles. You pay me in rubles, and that has put the ruble up, right, in value. But there's a big but again. Nobody says that the ruble or any other fiat currency in the world is not devaluating against inflation in a steady pace, always. And that solution, we have come up with a solution to that. This is new for the world in history. They don't know yet, right? So in that sense, just because we are different in that sense. So you can think of all what is called CBDCs, right? A centralized. So you can, it's very easy actually to peg if the government of Russia or the government of China or the government of whatever country, they want to peg their fiat currency to any blockchain. It takes 1 minute, literally. But again, it's the same fiat currency. It's like USDT. USDT is the #1 stable coin till this day, but it's the US dollar. Nobody says that the US dollar is perfect. GAUGECASH is much more better than the US dollar, than the euro, than the ruble, just because of the properties that it has, right? But that's pretty new. And so even traditional finance, investment bankers, governors of bankers, this idea is breakthrough, and they don't get it very easily. So in that sense, if you ask me, GAUGECASH could be so wonderful for these initiatives. But yeah, they can go and do their ruble token. But again, it's the ruble, and the ruble has behaved pretty badly. And if something happened in the future, it's just a government decision. And that separates us in the protection of your wealth, which all the fiat currencies, because now we don't have political pressures, right? So did I answer?
Yes, wonderful. Thanks, Manuel.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Manuel, that's what I'm referring to. The investors are in Africa. The big world players are investing in Africa. Well, maybe we should have a talk, Holger. I don't know that market. If you know any investors, I mean, for real, let us know. I mean, we are able to take money from whatever part of the world. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I want to be humble, and probably one of the problems that we have is now better high-end contacts. We're looking for them, and if it is someone from Africa, I'm happy to talk to them. Okay. Okay. Any other question from you guys? I will go through the ones that were sent to us and see if I already answered all of them. If not, I will answer, and then we will finish. Okay. Let me read here. There's a guy called John Van Engelsdorf, and he asked again about the digital yuan. Yeah, digital yuan will replace the dollar and USDT, including all other stable coins. However, the ECNY will not be a stable coin. By Chloe. Yeah, I already answered that, right? Is whatever centralized bank does to put in just in a blockchain, their fiat currency is the same thing. So there's nothing new to the table. So in that sense, way more than that. So no worries, right? Claudi already asked, I answered. Nujen, sorry if I'm pronouncing your names incorrectly, but like, and Eugen and Don ask us, why, as the stable coin, do you plan to go as an alternative to USDT, USDC? Of course, we want to take those markets. Why is stopping GAU to become the other choice for USDT, USDC? Money and marketing. Why you could not have GAU listed on the smaller exchanges such as KuCoin, CoinEx, Coinbase? Well, KuCoin is not small and Coinbase as well not small, so probably you're mistaken there. And I already said that the smallest is not sustainable for us, so we are not going to put our project in crappy exchanges. As the investor coin holder, what we can do to help to get GAUGECASH project moving fast to the market exchanges? Well, we're going to put an initiative over there in terms of marketing. So we will be airdropping some GAUGECASH for a specific, let's say, if somebody wants to, let's say make some content, right, about GAUGECASH and a use case, real use case, and we believe that content is valuable, we will airdrop some GAUI. So hopefully now that, so part of the problem of this project is like, compared to other projects, like let's say any other blockchain, which they have a Discord channel and there are tons of developings and that's their community, developers. In our case, we are not that because we are not a blockchain. So now that the tech is ready, we can grow a community of marketing. So people bringing ideas, meaning ideas, not just written ideas, meaning work, right? Like content, videos, social media, interviews, podcasts, relevant people, real contacts, relevant investors, and so on and so forth. And maybe we can airdrop some GAUI so that our community start understanding better and repeat itself again and again. What is GAUGECASH about in terms of usability? What is for? What can you benefit from? How can we use in any part of the world? So we start growing the adoption of GAUGECASH. We're going to bring some rules to that initiative, and hopefully that community starts to grow. But if not, we are looking for money and we will do that ourselves, meaning we will put the work, right? Now, and probably the other one is, as I said, like, not being all these negative comments about saying that this is a scam and stuff like that, just because based on emotion. I believe that is not helpful for the project. I get myself sometimes frustrated with many years ago with many things in the world, but the world it is what it is, and we need to move forward and adapt. This project is about, I have been adapting every week since I start, really, for real. And I will keep adapting and moving forward. But I still believe that the payoff for everyone is going to be huge. And not just in the money side, in the value of the solution. Now that this year AI has become a thing, again, AI has been worked out now for 10, 20 years. So we're seeing the results of that hard work, and it's going to be very useful for many tasks. I believe what we are doing in terms of finance is like finance is so back. So how do I say this? Like, I mean, backwards in terms of technology, and now we have the technology to go forward. So hopefully, we are part of that. One of the largest moving parts in terms of finance for the foreseeable next 30 years. So anyways, that's all the questions I have. And well, the last topic that somebody asked is about regulation. For us, again, that GAUGECASH will be always a project that we don't want to put in hands of any regulatory body because it's decentralized. So what does that mean? Well, what you have seen in our solution, once you are in the crypto world, and you are in the layer of using GAUGECASH as a system of pricing goods and services, exchanging value, and storing value, you don't need to worry about regulation, because if you need to pay taxes in your country, you just go to your normal exchange and then pay in whatever fiat currency you need. It's the same in every part of the world. So that's a decision that we already take. Now, for bringing investors, well, it will depend. If we bring in investors from the US, then we need to think about regulation for the investors there. If we bring money from the Middle East, then we will talk with them. If we bring money from China, from Africa, from Mexico, from whoever, that's the regulatory aspect. But the GAUGECASH service, the whole point of it is to be decentralized, and nobody can touch that. So we're not going to go backwards. So never think of GAUGECASH as a breach of fiat. GAUGECASH fiat. It is going to be, in terms of adoption like that, maybe some years, but like in the future, what we want is fiat, GAU, maybe just for taxes, fiat, something like that. Hopefully you understand. Anyways, any other question? If not, probably that will be it. You can unmute yourselves and then ask the question. Is there a written summary of the main points of it? This would be nice because I don't understand everything. Thank you very much. Yes, Galaxy, no worries. I have been recording this AMA, and we will post it in our blog. And you can look at it as well again. Okay. Any other question? Okay, guys. Well, have a good one. You take care, and we're pushing. Okay. I'm thinking a lot on how to get our new. I have some huge ideas. Not ideas for like. What I'm trying to say is not this for motivational purpose. No, what I mean is like real big ideas. Like, for example, do some crazy things in the sense of meaningful ways. For example, what happens if we make a crowd sale to buy an exchange that is, for example, Coinbase, which by definition, if it is public, we can buy it and then make it private, right? that could be very beneficial for GAUGECASH to be owner of one of the largest exchanges in the world. So yeah, what I'm saying is, in other words, we will start pushing some things from the top down or from the down up, right? There are many examples in history in which that's the way to grow exponentially, right, from the top down. Holger, what's the status on the wallet upgrade USDC? Sorry, Holger, I don't. What do you mean exactly? You can speak if you want.
Hi, Manuel.
Hi, Holger. How are you?
Yeah, just a moment. Had to leave the bedroom. Is there currently an update on the wallet in a beta version for USDC?
No, what you saw is the exchange part. Okay, so we have the GAUGECASH is going to be just right now USDT because of what I just explained, and that's enough. Where we are working on that on the GAUGECASH side is just take Matic out of the. So you don't need to send Matic. So you will just have USDT and GAU. So to leave it super simple, so for the foreseeable future, so in the future, people, they don't even need to worry about Matic. So paying the gas fee, we will pay it in the back, taking it from USD, and that is what is called meta transactions. That's GAUGECASH. Pay, send, receive, that's it. Then GAUI buying, well, it's just the crowd sale. Probably we will lower the price and make a second crowd sale and so on. That is, we will see about that. And then the beta part that you are seeing, it appears USDC, but we will have more pairs. But don't get that because it's not finished. Okay, so I will announce what is finished. It's public because you can, in the desktop part you can see it, but like it's not finished. So don't get confused. When the exchange is ready, I will let you know how it will work.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah. No, I just don't want to confuse the community, but yeah, it looks quite exciting, you know, seeing an exchange and having the USDC available. Basically, let's call it attacking USDT and USDC with one wallet.
Yeah, actually, it's going to be pretty. It's pretty cool. The part that you see USDT in top bar is because we haven't integrated the amount of money that you have in USDC, right? So what we want is just to have like two lines, let's say, in which you can choose, let's say, Ether, and then remember that we are connecting to Uniswap in the back. So we need whatever pools are available in Uniswap in Polygon's network. For Ether pairs, you will see them there. If you choose, let's say, USDC, then you will see the pairs that are available and so on and so forth. So it's like a combinatory thing, right? But one of the things that we're thinking that we are not settled still is how do we show the balance? So the USDC that you see in the top part is an example for all right now to see if, like, we're going to list the balances and then the exchange, or we're going to integrate the balances within the exchange, but then you cannot see them all if you need to choose. So that's one decision in terms of design that we are not sure exactly what will be the path, but we're very close to do it. So that's why you see USDC is not because USDC plays an important role. If we decide to put, maybe we will put the exchange in the top, and then in the bottom we will put all the balances. Like if you have Ether, then Ether. If you have USDC, and then so on and so forth, right? Matic, blah blah blah. All the ones that are available for exchanging in the pools, right?
Yeah, understand. Yeah. Yeah. On another note, Manuel, why I'm pushing for Africa. I've been in contact with a couple of companies down in Johannesburg and Kapstadt,
right?
And there is a company. They are selling a multi-million-dollar system, which basically oversees or it controls basically agriculture growing. So, for example, right now they are in a state where they sell the system for growing medical marijuana. So we are talking about a system which is which basically costs minimum $1 million. So what these guys want to do is they want to sell the system with a decentralized monetary system as a package, which I was quite not confused, but I was a bit excited that these guys. I mean, you can sell a product easily, but they want to ensure that whatever the reason is, I just want to dig a bit deeper. Whatever the reason is, but they want to sell this product, which I think this will be the future anyways, because the system can control any agriculture growing whatever you want to do, wherever, and it's basically indoor. But they want to sell this with a decentralized monetary system. So I told them just to have a look into GAUGECASH. So,
yeah, I mean, for us, if you guys find these projects, do you believe that there's a chance there of using GAUGECASH as a tool? What I would like you to do is like send me an email or a message, and then and the thing is, like, I need to talk to them, and I like to talk to the founders and so on and so forth. So
yeah, that's what I said, Manuel. Sorry for interrupting you. That's what I said. I said I like the idea, but in the end, you need to talk to the founder because he has the knowledge about it. And
but you have access to him or no? Yes.
Yeah, we are at a stage where we talk about selling the system. So the system exists; it's on the market. But now they wanna start selling this as I said, as a package, with basically what he was saying is he wants to sell this with a decentralized payment system, but where the buyer has a benefit of using this payment system.
Yeah, I need to understand more, and so let's talk in the not right now in the AMA. Let's take this further. I will write to you, and what I would like to do is always this is for everyone. If you want, I mean, not from what you are saying, Holger. This is for the rest of the people if they listen to this AMA. Is any initiative for me? If it is just an idea, it doesn't work. If it is a real contact that you have, and again, you already told me yes. I need to let's settle a meeting, let's talk to these people, and then I can start understanding and figure out how can we do things if there are some possibilities. Okay.
Yeah, that's the plan. But at the moment, Manuel, for me, it was not the point to get you involved because of what you just said. If it's not legit, or if it's a stupid idea, I mean, I know what I'm doing, and if I find it contributes to the project, I will definitely refer it to you then, and so that these guys can talk to you. But I think that's a big opportunity to grow, and this is why I refer to Africa. Is I've realized there are so many nations or governments which invest in Africa or have been investing in the past 2 years, and it's a growing market there, and many of the big players they go or are already in Africa. That's why I meant I wouldn't focus on the American economy or on the US market at all. It's right now it wouldn't make sense for me, because now they increase their debt ceiling, and the US economy is going down in the next 2 years. I don't see a big opportunity or a big market for the next couple of years in the US or in America. That's my opinion. That's what I meant. What I've written.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
So,
I mean, again, I don't have any contacts in Africa. It's a market that I don't know.
I'll let you know.
So if you can help us with that, I'm happy to have a look at it and start talking to people for sure.
Yeah, I will let you know. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Holly.
Yeah, not a problem. Thanks for your time, Manuel. Much appreciated.
You're welcome, Jose. I have another question here. If this does go as planned, and you know this will fail, will you give us a chance on a smaller exchange to even try to rebuild GAUGECASH? Now this is the last resort. Will we have the opportunity to be able on a small exchange? Only asking if the worst was to happen. Yeah, again, it seems like there's a lack of understanding. You can open a pool in Uniswap. So listing again is not a problem, okay? Do it. And yeah, if you put the liquidity, then you will see. But yeah, go ahead. I mean, again, this is a decentralized project. You guys can do whatever you want. So I don't think it will fail. We'll continue working. And we just finished the service, as I imagined 5 years ago, 4 months ago, and now is the time to grow. Okay, so yeah. So again, I am not thinking in that. Okay, fail is not an option. Okay, it's too big of the market that something will happen. Okay, we will push forward. Okay, guys, I believe that's it. Have a good one. And from this side, we will keep going, and you guys stay safe. And the GAUGECASH team, all of us, we're moving, and our partners, and we will adapt to whatever situation it comes, and try to get the best out of it. Okay. Whenever I got big news for you, good news, even bad news, but probably better good news. I believe it's a matter of time. So we will keep pushing forward. See you guys. Have a good one.